Take the Leap is the podcast where we get real about the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship and life. Sure, some folks make running a business look like a walk in the park, but let's be honest, it's more like a wild ride through a theme park with a lot of unexpected twists and turns.
Join us, your co-hosts, Ashlan
and Tory,
as we spill the beans on our own real-life experiences and shine a spotlight on some amazing guests. From the highs of success stories to the lows of epic failures. And hey, we'll even throw in some cringe-worthy, laugh-out-loud, embarrassing moments for good measure.
So buckle up and tune in every Tuesday and Thursday for a dose of raw, unfiltered truth about what it's really like to chase your dreams and build a business.
Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just dipping your toes into the startup world, we've got something for everyone. Even if it's just to make you think, wow, I'm glad I didn't do what they did. Welcome back to the Take the Leap podcast. I'm Ashlan and Tory. I just want to jump in right away because you and I have been DMing and messaging about this a lot. So I want to hear your take. What do you think of when you hear the terms boss babe or girl boss and all of the advice that came along with that era of entrepreneurship how-tos?
Well, let me tell you this. Nothing grinds my gears more than hearing those terms. And, through our conversations, I was really trying to figure out why and what specifically, and put words to what specifically it is that drives me nuts about it. So yeah, I have a couple of thoughts, and I'm sure you do too.
Absolutely.
And I want to kick it off by just saying, I think what would make me feel better about it is if we could start a trend where we could start gifting all of the bros in our lives, like coffee mugs or signs for their desk that say boy boss. And I feel like if we could just start doing that, and they would love it as much as, having like a girl boss mug, I think maybe I might feel slightly differently about it. I don't know about you, but I feel like it's a great idea. I think we should start a trend.
Oh, totally. Anything that like demeans people who, that's their capability. It's just, it starts from a place. I think what bothers me of it is it starts from a place of just automatically assuming women are inferior in business and that we need to label ourselves a certain way. We've talked about this too. I also hate all of these different, gurus and people that are pulling out these kind of like get rich quick schemes. Like it's not, that's not the way that business works, and if it was, all of us would be, able to do it so fast. Yeah.
Rich quick. We all would get rich quick. Yeah. Like if it was truly that easy, we wouldn't have a problem in our economy right now.
100%. Also, there's the lottery.
I guess there's
that's the promise, right? Of the get rich quick.
Exactly. Exactly. But I think one of a bigger issue besides just, that is a pretty big issue. That's something in our society that we've dealt with for a long time in business and out of business, right? But I think another thing that these terms do, boss babe, girl boss, mompreneur, all those things, I think it really normalizes that, like, that early 2010 era toxic positivity and like hustle culture, which I think we're thank God, finally starting to get out of, because it's just not sustainable. And I just think back to all of the like early business books and, even the stuff that I read in college, at the recommendation of professors and peers and stuff like that. I think back to all of those books. I'm like, oh, these are cringy now. These are so cringy. This is not helpful. This is not sustainable. It's a bunch of already rich people wrote these books and are giving advice based on.
Right. Well, and it doesn't look at it doesn't look at the historic privilege that many of the folks have, you know. So a lot of the boss babe culture and a lot of the girl boss culture is white women of means who decided already that they're going to go start a business. I mean, you know, when you, I'll call them out because I'm not a super fan of these celebrities, but you know, when Paris Hilton or Kendall Jenner or Kim Kardashian, you know, start businesses and talk about the struggle, it's like, oh my gosh, you have so much already that is doing that. And then I think also it promotes this effect of people like always wanting to be famous and to be popular. Like that's one thing people have asked me is just like, oh, do you want to become like an influencer through your business, social media? And I'm like, that's not what I'm here for. That's not what I'm about.
No.
You know, what really motivates me is to teach people how to effectively market their business so that they can live, you know, the lifestyle that they want to do, you know, work as often as they want to support themselves. Heck, you could still have a business and have a full-time day job if you want. I did for a while, and then there was a point at which that I was like, this doesn't serve me anymore. I can have a bigger impact and get to work with other business owners on my own if I fully commit to being in my own business. But you know, it wasn't. I didn't go into it being, you know, I am gonna start and build this into an empire. I've changed my mind a little bit about that now, but I know empire building takes time. It's not, you know, it's not tomorrow I'm going to be $1 million business. That's not what I anticipate. I also feel like a lot of that culture, there was all that VC money craze too of, you know, build it up so that you can get investors. But really, if you take investment, there has to be a return on investment in it. And then you don't own your business anymore. You know, somebody owns a chunk of it.
Right.
And you hear those horror stories of people who get voted out of the thing that they built. And that's just, you know, that's an era, that's a something that I never want to go into. That's something that I don't want to keep me up at night. It's like, oh my gosh, this person is, you know,
Yeah,
gonna potentially pull out money or something and ruin what I built.
absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of us go into this because we want the freedom to be creative and
Mm-hmm.
we want the freedom to live life the way that we want to. Of course, becoming a millionaire or a billionaire would be lovely. Even though I think billionaires are that's a whole different issue. I think that's
Yeah.
I don't think
I
we
don't
should
know what
have
I would do
billionaires,
with the
but
money. Yeah.
yeah,
I would give all the
yeah,
money
yeah.
away, honestly. Yeah.
I think I would too. Yeah. Like what? Because what are you going to do with it? I mean,
I mean,
at the
it's
end of the day,
nothing you could ever
you and your
spend
family are
in your
taken care
life.
of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's, besides the point. Of course that would be lovely, but that's not why I started this. And I'm
Mhm.
definitely not there. So I'm not gonna even pretend that I'm a millionaire talking to you on the internet, telling you how to grow your business because I am not. Um, but I just feel like so many people are going into entrepreneurship for the wrong reasons because
Mhm.
of what this culture has done. And I feel like I'm even still unlearning some of it. I know that I think I mentioned this in the last one. My mom is also an entrepreneur and we did a lot of like trading business books and stuff like that during that time frame. And I just feel like a lot of those lessons were just so ingrained in our culture that it's kind of
Mhm.
hard to um, recognize in all the ways that it's hurt us. And I think as women who are going into business, and there are so many more women going into business now, which I think is awesome.
Mhm.
And we didn't have a seat at the table, so we're making a seat at
Our
the
own,
table.
yeah,
But
making our own table,
yeah,
honestly. Just
our
we'll go
own
sit over
table.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like we don't want to be part of this table anymore. And I think now that more people are kind of recognizing that we don't have to follow the same rules and the same patterns, that's almost more empowering. And I just think the whole boss babe culture was only empowering for certain people. And it just kind of gave us white women the excuse to be empowered and talk about feminism and talk about how we're doing our own thing now without actually making any changes in the business world. And that just doesn't sit right with me anymore. So,
No, yeah.
yeah, that's what grinds my gears about this whole movement. And I'm sure when people use the terms, I don't think every person out there is like, "Oh, I'm a boss babe," and like intentionally trying to keep really toxic masculine ideals going. But I just feel like it's good that we're talking about it now because
Yes.
it's not helpful. It's not helpful to
No.
anyone.
No.
Even to the people that it was serving
intended
before.
for. Yeah,
Not
it
helpful,
also
yeah.
creates this wash of it's like pink washing, you know. I mean, there's also a look and feel to it that I feel a lot of entrepreneurs are using out there, and it just is, you know, it's not it's not helpful. It's not helpful. It's not real. I feel like it's, sayings, you know what I mean? Like, oh, if I just say this over and over again, it'll come. And no, there's a real hard work that goes into entrepreneurship, that we do have to change the way that women in business are treated and, not cater to men. And I also feel like it, especially with the term girl boss, and, I read that book when it came out. I feel like at one point I probably hashtag girl boss. And then the more that, the reality started to set in of, the fail fast, fail hard, do this way, all of that kind of nonsensicalness that, this is a normal part of the business journey and you just got to try harder, be positive, keep the mindset going is, it's not realistic. And it continues to put a face out there that is, not it's making women be treated certain ways in business as if they can't play, in the big leagues with men, and so it's not
Right.
helpful at all. And the fact that we just don't, have access to the same things that men in business will have. I was actually talking to somebody who was getting advice for some business expansion, and she was just like, it's very, very interesting that men get told to seek an investor or get a line of credit or seek funding from other sources, and women get told to take out loans, not to partner up, to do it themselves. So I also think that that's another toxic thing that came out of this. And I know you and I are very different, obviously, because we do a lot of collaboration, but it was the do it yourself, not have a collection of people who help you. It's you have to be a solo and you have to do this and you have to hustle and do it and some ridiculous competition in it. I mean, you and I both do marketing for small businesses in very different ways. There's never been a moment where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't talk to Tory about this because she might steal my state secrets and be able to help. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, there's enough business for all of us. And I feel like throwing these old principles out the window and just collaborating and realizing that it's just not sustainable to
Mm-hmm.
do it by yourself
Mm-hmm.
anymore. That's what's helped me in my business more than anything is collaborating with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really toxic culture that we're in right now. I think it's starting to change. I feel like it's starting to change.
We're
I
trying
feel
to
like we're
change it.
creating
We're
these kind
trying
of
to change it.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we're trying to change that.
yes,
Yes. Yes.
absolutely. And so I'm just hopeful for the future, for future entrepreneurs that when they get started, whoever they are,
Mm-hmm.
um, whatever their background is, that they have an easier time because hopefully the culture is a little bit different. And it looks a little bit different for them.
Yeah.
That's
Community,
the hope.
Community and collaboration. And that's what we are trying to build through Take the Leap, is come be with your people who are going through the same things. You don't need to try to climb the mountain by yourself with no gear.
Yes.
And nothing, nothing to have and show for
It's just so silly. It's so silly, like thinking back to all those things. And I don't know how people have bootstrapped things for so long. Like, why do everything yourself? Why do it that way? Also, I don't believe that there's any industry. I mean, there's so many creative people in the world. I don't think that there's any industry where you have such a unique take on something that you have to keep it a secret.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like those trade secrets. Like we can't tell so and so because they might steal our idea and then become more successful than us. How about we just collaborate and we all
share.
get what we get from the end of the day and share in our success and work together. We only get one life, right? So like, let's build a community, not an island by ourselves.
Totally. Last time I checked, I don't have the Coca-Cola recipe, hidden anywhere. There's few things like that, that are so unique and special. So yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you, Tory, for riffing with me on this topic. And we hope to create, through Take the Leap, a community of entrepreneurs who want to collaborate, connect, and help each other through it. Stop trying to be a solo. Stop trying to be a girl boss. It's a tough, long road, and we're here to help and support you in that.
Yes, absolutely.
All
we
right.
want you to be successful in your own way.
On your own terms. All right. Well, bye for now. We hope to see you for our next episode, and tell us what you think, your take on boss babes and girl bosses. Thank you for listening to the Take the Leap podcast. We hope you found useful takeaways you can apply to your entrepreneurial journey. Subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and keep in touch and follow us on Instagram. If you have business questions, shoot us a direct message or leave us a comment. We'll try to cover it in an upcoming episode. And visit our website, taketheleap-today.com, for more resources like our online course that accompanies this podcast.